Good morning, day 100. So I've been cooking down my freezer now for over 3 months, and I'm still going to be cooking down my freezer because there's still lots of food in there. So I've been thinking about planting some things outside, like kale and spinach and some of the lettuces, but some of the nighttime temperatures are going to dip down into the 20s this coming up week. So I think I'm going to give it another week. And it's feeling too cold for me to go out there. It is not good with my arthritis to be out in the cold too much. So today I'm thinking I'm going to try planting some things indoors. I got my grow station all set up. I figured out a way to get the lights going that made more sense, and so I can put more things up in my grow room. So I just took an inexpensive little greenhouse that I had hanging around here. I have 3 of them. 2 of them are outside. 1 of them is upstairs with no cover on it. And then I just rigged up some lights, and it seems to be working pretty well. So I don't know what's for breakfast yet. I'm going to have to look in the refrigerator and the freezer and see what we come up with. So are you guys gardening outside yet? I'm in zone 6, and it's still a little too chilly here. So let me know in the comments below if you've gotten some of your plants in, what you've already planted, or maybe you don't garden at all. All right, I'll be back in a little while with some breakfast. This is an inexpensive 3-tier greenhouse. Okay, this is going to be a little hard to show because it's right by a window and the backlighting makes it too dark. But I just wanted to show you what I came up with for my little grow station. And this sits right in front of the window. This is a southwest exposure. And what I did was, these come with these shelves, and they're kind of far apart, really a little too far apart to do any seed germination. So what I did was, Walmart sells these expandable shelves that you can put in your cupboard. So I bought some of those, and then I zip tied them together because they sort of just interlock and they'll buckle. So I zip tied them in 4 places, and they're sturdy now. But what this does is it raises the level for where the lights are. Now under here I have some, we're not going to be able to see that, but I have some little grow lights that I got a few years back. They're not really that great, but I use them anyway. So I have those there. And then here I put another shelf, and this is a warming mat, and I'm warming up the soil for these tomatoes. And this is just a container, a deli container from salad. But these lights will light up. And I got these a couple years ago, and I never put them in. But I just zip tied these to the bottom of the shelves. And I zip tied the shelves over here because otherwise they'd fall off. So it's very sturdy now. But so here I have the heat mat and the lights for my little tomato plants. And then up here I have a different kind of light. It's just a under cabinet light, but it works too. So I have that going. And then up here I have a big light, a big grow light that I got at Costco a few years back. Now this one is just sitting on top of this top shelf, So, and that has a lot of light. So I have my tomatoes up there. But this is working out great. Now this is a little USB fan. I'm still trying to figure out a way to hook this up so that it stays charged. But anyway, this is what I came up with my little grow light station, and it was very inexpensive. It was less than $100. So, and I know grow lights can get very expensive. So this is how I do my starts, and today I'm going to go ahead and I have this whole shelf, and I think I'm going to do some peppers and eggplant, and then I have this shelf. So I can put quite a bit of starts on this unit, and then I can plant things down here too. Now this one doesn't have a light, but I still have more of these little lights that I can put under there. So anyway, so far this is working out great. My tomatoes are doing real well. And it's almost time, since these guys have their true leaves coming up, and so do these, it's almost time to put them in individual pots. You don't want to wait too long so their roots don't get too tangled. And then in this one, I have little basil plants coming up. So this will be nice to get my starts going. And my potatoes are starting to come up. So I just want to do some starts on potatoes. Homegrown Veg does this in yogurt pots with potatoes. So I don't know, I thought I'd try it. It'd be a fun project anyway. So there you go, there is my little grow station. And if you don't have the lights, you can even set something like this up in front of a real bright window. The reason I put the lights up is because otherwise, especially things like tomatoes, they get too leggy, even though this is a south window. So this works out well for me, and I'm pretty happy with it. Well, I wanted to show you what years of gathering seeds looks like. I have so many seeds. I've tried seeds over the years. Some of them have turned out okay, but a lot of them haven't. And it's not because they were old, but just because of the growing conditions. But I've saved all the seeds, and this is what I have. So I would like to get rid of some of these, and I'm going to plant a lot of them and just see what happens. I have flower seeds, vegetable seeds, herb seeds, all kinds of seeds. So I can't possibly plant all these in my garden, but I'm going to plant as many as I can and see what comes up, and if nothing happens, that's okay. At least I'll be downsizing some of my seeds and having a reasonable amount of seeds left. So they are organized. In here is flowers. In here is microgreens. These are herbs. These are some more herbs. These are seeds I've gathered myself from plants I had. These I gathered from my mom's house. They're different flower seeds. Some fennel. Now these seeds I bought this year because they were 4 for $1. And these are the plants that I want to start this year, and I'm just kind of nervous that a lot of these older seeds aren't going to do anything. So I did spend about $7, $8 on seeds for this year. But we'll see. I'll interplant them with the older seeds and we'll see what comes up. And these are flower seeds and also vegetable seeds. I have some sugar baby watermelons I want to try to plant. Now I've planted these flowers from the Dollar Tree and they don't do anything. I have 2 Amazon trucks in front of my house and they've been there for like 15 minutes and they're just, I don't know what they're doing out there. Maybe swapping packages? Who knows? Anyway, my alarms are going off, my dog alarms. So anyway, these from the Dollar Tree, I tried planting them last year. They didn't do anything. I have a lot of lettuces, a lot of kale, all kinds of things. So they are in an order that makes sense to me. But I think if these would all germinate, I think I would be good on seeds pretty much the rest of my life. So do you guys have a lot of seeds or do you buy them just every year? I don't know, like I said, I've gathered these over the years and some of them just haven't done anything. So this year I want to try and interplant the older seeds with the newer seeds and just see what comes up. All right, breakfast day 100. Okay, let's see here. Let's get creative. Let's get crazy like Bob Ross used to say. So I made this banana ice cream the other day. Not my favorite. It's kind of crystallized, so I'm going to take that out. And I made that with my homemade yogurt. So I'm going to get that out. And let's see what I have in here. I have blueberries. I have mixed fruit. I think I'll get some of that out. And what else is in there? I have these berries that need to be eaten up. What's this back here? I think that's kiwi, but I'm not going to have that right now. And so I still have lots of frozen fruit. Sorry for all the noise, but I still have bananas and strawberries down there. All right, well, I'm going to make a smoothie because I still have soy milk I want to use up. And then for dinner, I have this sauerkraut from January. So I'm going to get that out. And like you know, I'm trying to use up some of these leftovers. And I have these porkless bites. I want to put those in there. And then I have potatoes. So I'll make some mashed potatoes. And one of my viewers was asking me what these are. So I still have a vegan pepperoni in here, but these, if I can get them out, are actually bean and cheese and rice burritos from January. So I'll be eating those in a few days too. So yeah, it's getting better, I think. What do you think? Still lots and lots of tofu. I have to start using that up. Okay, so I will meet you over at the stove and we'll make some smoothies. So I have this ice cream that I was hoping was not going to be hard as a rock. This is not my best work. It's okay, but it's not great. So I don't want to throw it away because it has my homemade yogurt in it, but I'm going to put some in a smoothie. I had a little bowl of it, and it's icy, if you know what I mean. It's not smooth. I thought the coconut oil would make it smooth, but that didn't work so well. And since it's frozen, I'll turn it into a smoothie. Okay, so this tastes almost like a popsicle kind of taste. You know, like when you make those fruit popsicles. So it's not bad, but it's not my best. So, but I am going to eat it. I'm going to stick it back in the freezer, and then I'm going to make a smoothie with it because I have still a good bit of soy milk. So I'm going to, and then in here I put, this is peaches, strawberries, mangoes, and some of my nice cream with my homemade jam. So let's see what we come up with. Okay, so I used up the rest of my soy milk. Yay! I put out my dinner rations to thaw. And later on I'll make some mashed potatoes. But I'm going to blend this up. You guys know I don't like this blender because it leaks. But I'll make do. Maybe I'll buy another one someday and it won't leak. Alright, this is very loud, so I'll be back once I get this blended up. Okay, well, here is my smoothie. Got more left, so let's give it a taste. I'm sure it'll be good. Yogurt and fruit. Much better. So, another thing that you guys know, I hate to throw away food. So try and reinvent your ingredients. I'm sure you can come up with something rather than throwing your food away. If you don't like the taste of something, add a different spice. Maybe that'll, you know, make it more palatable. Try adding some hot sauce. Try making it more savory. There's lots of different things you can do. All right, I'm going to drink my smoothie and we'll have a little chat. So I just thought of something else I could add to my smoothie. I have this Hershey's strawberry syrup that I want to use up. I've had it in there for a long time. I'll probably buy more at some point, but I really would like to use it up. So I added it to my smoothie. And there's still some in there. And it's even tastier. So last year I bought this very tiny dehydrator, and it does a good job. So if you don't have a lot of room, if you live in an apartment or you know, you just don't have a big kitchen, this is what it looks like. And then it's got the timer and the time and the temperature up here. But, yeah, and it's another one of my little kitchen gadgets. So right now I'm dehydrating my sprouts because after I washed them, they got kind of, they never dried right. And I don't want to throw them away, so I'm just dehydrating them, and I'll just add them to something else. And then I have some grapes in there that I'm dehydrating too. I want to see how those turn out. So I got this little thing on Amazon. I don't remember what I paid for it. But for very small batches of food, I have a couple dehydrators. But this works out real well. So there we go, another gadget. This is really good, you guys. I put some chocolate syrup in there too, so now I have a chocolate strawberry smoothie. I'm not a huge fan of smoothies, so I like to doctor them up, but it's really good. Yeah, so I'm trying this with the sprouts because they're nutritious, and I figured, well, if nothing else, you know, I'll throw them away. But I wanted to try to dehydrate them and maybe add them to a greens mix if you have like celery tops or lettuce, kale, any of the greens. If they're going past their prime, you can always dehydrate them, and you can do it on a very low oven, on the lowest setting that your oven goes. So that'll work too if you don't have a dehydrator. But then you can put them in your spice mill and make yourself a greens powder, really cheap, and it's very nutritious. You can add it to smoothies, you can add it to soups, stews, you know, just use your imagination. But that's a good way to use up greens if they're starting to turn. So I like to do those things. Celery, you can always put that on a cookie tray and freeze it. You can make a mirepoix, which is carrots, celery, and peppers, or you can add onions. I've taken my sweet onions when I had too many, cut them up and frozen them, and that's really nice to have on hand when you're cooking and you don't want to chop constantly. So it's a good thing to keep on hand in your freezer, any of your veggies. You can freeze those little things of salad, and when they come in the bubble thing, and then put those in your smoothies. I mean, they're not real great to eat anymore because they get kind of mushy, but you know, it's fine for a green smoothie. So most of the morning I was fooling around with my grow light system, and I think I got it the way I want it now. I've had the grow light system for maybe 4 years, maybe a little longer, but I never got it quite the way I wanted it. But now the thing that really did it was ordering those extra shelves, because if you get the small 3-tier greenhouse or 4-tier, there's a big space in between the shelves, and really when you do your starts you need to have your light close to your plants so that they don't get leggy. You want to keep them short and stocky. And another thing that helps with that is having a fan on to blow them. It hardens them off and makes the stems less leggy and more sturdy. So, and then I was in my garage looking for my potting mix, my seed starting mix. I bought some last fall in anticipation of the spring crops. So, you know, my garage over the winter time, it gets a lot of stuff in there from the garden. I put my bulbs, I store those in there. So there's lots of boxes and different things. So in the spring I always have to do a clean out of the garage. And there's things in there too that I bought that I still have to put together. I have a potting bench. This is going on year number 2 that I bought that, and I really, really want to start using that. So, like I said, if you buy these things, even if you get a good deal on them and you don't use them, you've pretty much wasted your money. So, since this is the year of reasonable, I'm trying to reasonably use up what I have. So, But it's taking me a while, and everything takes me a while because I can't work for long periods of time because of my joints. But you guys know that already, and I know a lot of you have the same issues as you get older. You just aren't that energetic anymore sometimes. You know, even if you're energetic inside, your body is going, no. So, but we plug away, we keep going, right? You have to do that. You don't want to just sit around and lose all your muscle tone and, you know, exercise as much as you can. I'm not a big, huge exercise person. I used to be. I walked 3 miles every day, no matter what the weather was. I remember walking in the snow and having a scarf over my mouth and breathing, and my bangs would freeze. That's how cold it was. Or I'd take an umbrella with me when I was walking in the rain. But I don't know, I just let all that stuff go, and it's not good for me, and I know it. So I really would like to start walking again. And I talked a little bit about this before. As soon as the weather gets a little better, I want to start walking in 10-minute increments. Now I can still walk a mile, mile and a half, but by the end of it, my back is feeling it. So I'm a good one for just jumping into things and saying, oh, I can lift 20 pounds when I haven't lifted 5 pounds in years. But this time I want to ease my way into it and build up my strength, because it just doesn't work anymore. I get too sore and I get very discouraged if I don't see myself making progress. So I'm going to try that this year. Just try walking once for 10 minutes, then twice for 10 minutes, and just build up so that my body gets used to moving a little bit more, because the last couple years, as we all know, we've all gotten a little lazy, I think. You know, the gyms were closed, you couldn't go there. There were a lot of places you couldn't walk to. So, but now we don't have that excuse anymore. Some of us put on a little bit of extra weight. I didn't put on any extra weight, but I have some extra weight I put on before you couldn't go out and exercise. So I can't use that as an excuse. But I would love to lose like 12 pounds. And for me, you know, some of you might be saying, oh, that's no big deal, 12 pounds. But on my small frame, 12 pounds really makes a big difference. So I really, really would like to do that. And I'm not a diet person. I don't eat big, huge meals anyway. I mean, you guys see the portions that I eat. But I don't want to eat keto and all that, because that's not what I enjoy eating. So I just pretty much eat what I like, but I need to up the activity level. And that always worked for me in the past, and I'm hoping it'll work for me again. So a long time ago, I actually made some really good ice cream with using avocados. And I don't remember what I did, because this was way before I started the freezer and the food cooked down. But I had some avocados, and I had some kiwis, and I think I had banana. But anyway, it was really, really good ice cream, but I wish I could remember what I did. So, you know, if you guys are inventing recipes, either document it on a video or write it down, because if you come up with something really, really tasty, you're going to kick yourself if you didn't write it down and you don't remember how you made it. So I'm anxious to get started on my shelving, but I really don't want to start that project until I get all my little starts going. Now that I got my grow light system set up the way I like it, I'm excited to get going on that. And since the weather isn't cooperating, since it's going back down into the 20s this week at night, I do have a couple little greenhouse covers that fit over my grow bags and over my my raised bed, but honestly I don't feel like dragging them out, but I will eventually. But I did pick up some soil yesterday. Drug Mart had 20 pound bags for $3.49, and it wasn't garden soil, it was actually potting soil. So altogether I have 5 bags of that because you know, the soil compacts in the grow bags and in the raised beds, and every year I have to add amendments to it. So I end up adding more potting soil, and then I put some chicken manure in there, some worm castings, some fertilizer, and then I just keep reusing the same soil. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put it, if I have smaller pots, I'll dump the whole thing of soil in my composter and let that sit with all the other stuff that I put in there. So last year I did use my compost, and it drove me absolutely crazy because it was full of fungus gnats. And I think the reason is because my composter is in a shadier area of the yard, because most of my yard is shady, and it's a tumbling composter, but it doesn't get hot enough to kill off all the little bugaboos in there. So I do have some compost starter that I used in the past, and I think you can use lime too, but do a little research on that, I'm not sure. But I never had that problem before. But I think I'm going to try and add some of the compost starter to it, and maybe that'll get rid of the fungus gnats, because what happened was they would be eating all the roots of my little plants, and so I didn't get much yield. And if there's something that is less or more frustrating to a gardener, it's when you do all that work and nothing's happening. So a couple of new things I want to try this year. We'll see how they work. Sometimes you come up with a good plan, sometimes not so good. Earlier, about a month ago, Dollar Tree did have those stackable things, so I got a few of those when they had them, and so I want to plant herbs in those because they're small, they don't hold too much. But I have a bigger one too. It's called a Mr. Stacky, and that will hold a little bit more, but that's another thing I have to put more soil in. So anyway, I'll be back later, and like I said, I'm going to have that sauerkraut and the porkless bites. I have potatoes. I'm going to make some mashed potatoes, and I may cook a couple extra potatoes and maybe make a little potato salad for another day. I don't know, it depends on how much I get done today, because once the afternoon comes around, it's like, I'm done. All right, I'll be back later, and we'll see what's for dinner, day 100. Three small potatoes with the skin on, and I just cooked some peeled potatoes. I want to add some of this cream cheese. Got a lot going on here, but it's dinner time. I'm hungry, and I want to get dinner made. So I'm just going to add, oh, maybe this much cream cheese. These are only 2 potatoes. I already heated up my sauerkraut. And I'm still dehydrating those grapes. I added my porkless bites to the sauerkraut. And I want to get these potatoes mashed up with the cream cheese while they're still hot. Now ideally I would put some milk in here, but I don't have any right now. I have to go get some. But the cream cheese in here will be good. And you can mash these, of course, as much as you want. You can leave them chunky, or I'm just adding some pepper. So this is a couple leftovers that are out of the fridge now. Very good. I think I'm going to leave the milk out, since I'm going to eat these with the sauerkraut. Alright, I don't want to mash these up too much. I want to leave them a little bit chunky. But it only takes a few minutes to cook up some potatoes for mashed potatoes. The instant ones are good too, but since I have these, I want to use them up before they go bad. And I think out of these I'm going to make either some potato salad, or I'm going to fry them up for breakfast. So I'm going to go ahead and dish this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is dinner day 100, frozen leftovers from the freezer, fresh mashed potatoes, sauerkraut with porkless bites. All right, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner, and in the meantime, I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself, be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.